it's just knowing that you're doing what you can,
Okay.
and trying to find some peace with the fact that we can't control anything,
Yeah.
and we just have to be blessed for the opportunity, and it helps us, I guess, appreciate what we do have.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Latina Leadership Series. My name is Angelica Casares, and I am your host today. I have Maydi, correct?
Mighty.
Maydi Adler.
Yes, Maydi Adler, like you would read it in Spanish.
Okay.
A lot of times here in America, I like to say like Mighty Mouse, but spelled
Uh-huh.
different.
Uh-huh.
You know.
Maydi. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. So I love bringing women on here to the Latina Leadership Series, and I like to talk about their background, the things they do, how they got to where they got. But Maydi, can you introduce yourself? Let us know what you do at the moment and the organization you're with.
Thank you very much. My name, as you know, is Maydi Adler. Born in Mexico, Guadalajara, and I've been in this country for 20 years. I'm currently working for an amazing association. It's called Chicanos Por La Causa, registered in Texas as CPLC.Inc. Because a lot of people don't feel so much comfortable with the word Chicano.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a 53-year organization that started, or the origins are in Arizona and California. Back in the day, with the Latino students, took the streets to demand equity. So it's funny, it's 53 years later, it feels like we're starting all over again, trying to fight for our rights and demand to have our own voices as minorities, and as women, as people of color, Latinos. And it's just beautiful. I feel I'm a recovered banker.
Okay.
Was working for a bank for almost 12 years, and now I feel like I'm doing something of worth.
Mm-hmm.
More. I feel happy about our mission, and the little bit I can do, I feel better than not doing anything at all.
So, Chicanos por la Causa, it's been around for 53 years, and I've heard of it before in the past. What are they doing now that it's 53 years later? What would be different?
Well, it's always something,
Mm-hmm.
and it's always trying to find our voice and our place in society.
Mm-hmm.
We believe in not just giving a handout, but a handout
Mm-hmm.
to people, to help them improve and empower their lives.
Mm-hmm.
For everybody is different. We have 4 5 pillars in the organization, from housing, health and human services. We also have a CDFI, you probably heard of it, named Prestamos,
Mm-hmm.
that World Bank provides financial services to people that want to start or grow their business, and they're not bankable,
Mm-hmm.
that are not good enough for a big Chase, BBVA, or Chase, or a Bank of America, or either because they don't have social security, or they don't have good financial records, good credit scores, or not enough financial numbers.
Mm-hmm.
A bank will ask for 5 years at least, right, or financials.
Yeah.
And I always said, and even when I used to work at a bank, that to get money from a bank, you need to prove that you don't need it. So
Okay, so I've seen that there's been a lot of focus on the finance side of it. Um, why? Well, not why do you think it's the shift of it, but I also heard that you guys were during the pandemic. There was a big need for a lot of the small businesses to stay afloat, and y'all did an amazing. Do you want to touch on that a little bit?
yes, thank you for bringing it up. We were actually the third largest lenders, of people making PPP loan accessible
Hmm.
to small businesses. We were just underneath Chase and Bank of America,
That's amazing.
incidentally. We had about almost 500,000 loans,
Hmm.
and our average loan was $15,000. So that really tells you it was going to the moms and pops, the little, store in the corner, that they were just struggling to stay open or keep paying their employees, because a lot of those employees, unfortunately, cannot stay at home and just collect unemployment. They just don't qualify.
So
So
15K was actually above average what the banks were giving, because even the Small Business Administration was doing 10K. So that was even from what I remember. When I remember that, that's 5,000 more to be able to
and then you
sustain.
got
Yeah,
big corporations, like Neiman Marcus
yeah,
getting millions of dollars in
yeah,
PPP loans. So
yeah,
eh,
yeah. But
it
that's
was a
a.
lot.
I like the focus on the finance and the entrepreneurship like aspect, and being able to keep those, because it is just a few thousands to keep those businesses open, to see if they can make it within the next half year, or or the year, or whatever it may be, to be able to purchase large items, say like a dough mixer that costs $5,000, right, that they can't get like a regular loan to be able to do. That's amazing that Chicanos La Causa are doing that. But before I move on to get to know you better, is there anything that you would like to say about Chicanos Por La Causa?
Well, that part of that did the loans is not Chicanos por la Causa per se,
Okay,
it's
yeah.
our CDFI.
Okay.
Our CDFI is called Préstamos.
Uh-huh. Oh,
Préstamos
yes.
did also an investment on I don't know, you're here in Houston?
Yes.
Okay, so the Post Houston,
Hmm.
the old post office.
Yeah.
They was being renovated and it's becoming like
Yeah.
a little very trendy mall,
Yeah.
shopping center, restaurants and why not. So we did an investment there for 11 million, right? Way before the pandemic, and it helped a lot to help people that were in the restaurant business pivot to construction. It's also one of our conditions for
Really?
that was to make sure that when they opened, they were going to provide spaces for women-owned businesses, for minority-owned businesses, etc. And
That's an amazing. It's like but it's even a tourist attraction. So it's still helping like the economy in the sense that people like the roof on top. It's like it's a tourist attraction. It's not a rooftop that people get to access the way they access there. You either have to go into the building to one of the restaurants to be able to access. But it brings in like the tourist people, and that old post office building has been beautiful forever, and it's been left alone for such a long time. I didn't know you
I,
guys were behind that.
well, we're just one of many, investors
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And I just think that concept of the rooftop is so green and beautiful and makes you think that life can grow anywhere, right? Even
It
rooftops.
can.
And you can make the most out of almost any space, any situation. And I just love the concept.
It's a beautiful space. That's amazing. You see, the more I know, the more I learn. So, Mighty, you come from, it is in Mexico.
Sí.
You come from Mexico and you have the finance. How did you get into that world? ¿Dónde comenzaste? How did you become you?
Well, that's a tough question. I always thought, number one, you are where you're meant to be. We're all part of one, a spiritual system where we are all where we're supposed to be. Like your mission, what you're doing is utilizing your gifts to touch other people's lives in many ways, bringing the light from some and showing it to others, and show them that que sí se puede.
Yeah.
I think I came here to America also, and a big part was help me find myself.
Okay.
This is really the land of the opportunity, the land of the free. And I think if I would have stayed in Mexico, my story would be different in many ways. So I built like many, out of many stories and scars and, blood and tears, and why not? But it's part of who makes us who we are, and then is what we have to offer. Really is it shows how is the life we're preparing us for the next part of our journey. So beginning with Mexico, I have always been I guess I'm the oldest of four. By that, it just tells you.
It does.
I was raised to, look after my little siblings and
Yeah.
be the responsible one and be. And as I moved to here, I found myself, I found my voice, and I have always tried to help others. I joined a spiritual, group of like 15 years ago, and I tried to right away get involved volunteering and being sort of like mentor for others that were just starting the path, trying to explain what I already knew. And after a while, I realized that I love doing this. And I became a certified coach. So
Okay.
I'm also a life coach. Then life, happens.
Yeah.
I was until then, I got married and I had children. I was a stay-home mom. Then I had, you know, I say blindsided with a divorce, and I have little kids, and I need to provide and be serious about it.
Yeah.
So I was blessed to find this job at the bank at the time. They helped me to provide for my children till the point where my bank got absorbed by another bank. And I was blessed. Then I think God leads you to where you need to go next. And I find this amazing opportunity with this organization that at the time were reunifying children at the border. So
Oh, yes.
part of the kids that were left separated from their parents during the Trump administration, and others that were just arriving, as you remember probably in the news a little over
Yeah.
a year ago. So we went into the mission of trying to find mom, dad, or an aunt, uncle for these kids and not have them, fall through the cracks of the system. And being in those horrible images on TV, the cages, the, metal blankets, and
Yeah.
it was heartbreaking for us. So at
Yeah.
least for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And every child I saw one of my kids through any stage of their lives, and it was heartbreaking. You really feel like you needed to do something about it.
Yeah.
It was yeah. So right now we keep growing, we keep expanding with the work and try to do right for homeless veterans, human trafficking. In states and Arizona, where we started, the programs are more advanced.
Yeah.
You see how their mission had expanded, to doing work with people with AIDS, not just, helping people unemployed and for whatever many reasons, having people house them. And we have also the ECED program, which is migrant children being schooled from, or we take care of them since they're 6 months old until they're 6 years old, and they can get into the system. They move with the migrants as their harvest moves,
Yeah,
the
they did.
crops.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and it's a beautiful thing because, we thank God because we're a nonprofit, and we have access to funds. We can provide those children with formula and diapers and try to help them being immersed with the language, because at home they probably only hear Spanish night and day,
Yeah.
and make them ready to be going to school.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have centers less than a mile from the Uvalde tragedy, so that
Oh.
really impacted our community, our teachers, our parents. A lot of those kids just had gone through our programs, and it hit very close to
Wow.
home.
Wow. That's so a, a lot of it is a lot of very human impact. How does
Most,
it shift and with you and those other and others like yourself who are within the organization? How does it impact, because I worked for nonprofits myself, and it impacts you a little differently when you're in the when you're knee high in the mud of it all. It's those personal interest stories that just you leave wondering what happened to so and so. I hope they got, they found their way. Will I ever run into them? How does it impact you? How do you deal with a moment like that? Being, you know, so close to the stories.
well, it's just knowing that you're doing what you can,
Okay.
and trying to find some peace with the fact that we can't control anything,
Yeah.
and we just have to be blessed for the opportunity, and it helps us, I guess, appreciate what we do have. And I know it sounds cliche, right? But it does. It's not always green in the other side of the fence.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, so you're doing what you're doing now. One of the part of the conversations of the topics that I love to have on here is leadership, and knowing seeing what you guys do. Part of that leadership is that So my question to you is, do you believe you're a leader?
I believe I am.
Okay. Why?
I believe by setting by my example. I
Okay.
cannot tell people what to do.
Uh-huh.
And people, most of the times, they don't hear you. They observe you.
Okay.
And if by my actions I can inspire anybody, it's just a good thing. And
Uh-huh.
to me, it's a big responsibility to always like act and behave to a level where I know I can be watched and I can be inspiring and or I can be an example of, beginning to my children, right?
Uh-huh.
Because you cannot tell them, hey,
Yeah.
don't smoke, it's not good for you, or don't drink, it's not good for you, and you
Yeah.
have the glass of wine on the hand. But they really observe you, and I hope I can at least inspire them
Mm-hmm.
and the people around me and my circles, in my family, and anywhere. Sometimes, I like to volunteer to support other organizations, other nonprofits.
Mm-hmm.
We are sponsors with, probably you heard about them, Yvette,
Yeah.
Power on Heels.
Yeah, I have.
And I love going to her seminars and her classes, and seeing all these young girls,
Yeah.
or sometimes, older women, trying to find their way and working really hard to find who they are and what they do and what's next.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of times easy for people to see it from the outside
Uh-huh.
because you have a different perspective, but when you are in the hall,
Uh-huh.
all you see around you is darkness. And it's great when you have somebody else, they can say, this is the way, let me help you, show you the light,
Yeah.
tend a hand, and walk you through the steps that you need to come out of there and become and do with yourself, become something better,
Yeah.
become something greater, and do something good. Because we all, especially as women, we have a big responsibility in society.
Mm-hmm.
Not only we begin raising our children, we're responsible for the men around us too.
Mm-hmm.
We're responsible for setting limits and showing our value and our worth. And I think that the level that women own their own value, the society itself is going to advance to the next level. It's not just about having the same voice as men, it's understanding that
Mm-hmm.
we have a different nature and a different energy,
Yeah.
and we're powerful.
Uh-huh.
We can bring life into this world. It's a
Yeah.
responsibility God gave us. Is just amazing and powerful to understand how powerful we are.
Yeah.
And the day that a guy can bring life into this world,
Uh-huh.
I'll probably change my speech. But until then, I feel like we have a great responsibility
Yeah.
to hold ourselves to a higher level of responsibility,
Mm-hmm.
physically, socially, morally, etc.
Earlier, you mentioned that you're also coaching. Part of coaching, and again, part of the things that I like to talk about here on mentoring. How important is mentoring for you, especially in the position that you are, and even as a mom?
Yes, well, it's interesting that you mentioned it. When I was at the bank, we had a group called Women in Leadership.
Uh-huh.
So it was a group of women from all ends within the organization, within the bank, all different departments. They will
Mm-hmm.
come together and we talk about, issues that pertain to us and to find solutions within our departments and within our in the society, and our communities. We try to support like Dress for Success or, other also nonprofits that we try to go and do financial education at jails for women,
Mm-hmm.
for homelessness, trying to educate them and show them how they can budget, or if they're trying to find a job, how to prepare for an interview, many things.
Mm-hmm.
So during that time, we went to, shortly after, we start matching our strengths and our weaknesses. And
Mm-hmm.
inside our own group, if I say my weakness is, say, time management, but that's your strength,
Mm-hmm.
we find a way to partner each other for mentoring.
Mm-hmm.
So we created little groups ourselves where people will help me getting better, and I will help others getting better. And then we went on lockdown, and we used to try to continue those meetings online because we were already doing it, or by phone. And I started noticing more and more the problems that we as women started to face at home, working from home, the children, the homeschooling, a lot of them, as you know, abusive relationships, and a lot of abuse start raising from those, a lot of substance abuse, and more problems start to come up. It was a point where we're not here to talk about time management. I'm having this much greater issue I would like to talk about with you, if it's okay. And you cannot say no. We are all locked down. We cannot see friends and family. And a lot of times we don't find anybody else to confine in. So having me being licensed, like I was licensed before, for life coaching, this really helped me be able to help others, and not just that, but tell them, if you know anybody else that needs help and want to talk to somebody, give me a call. I was doing it. I was not even charging at the time. It was just knowing that it was a time to action. It was a time to really help and be there for those that couldn't and didn't have any other option. So life coach would have been probably my next opportunity or passion to work if I wouldn't find this nonprofit.
Yeah, your natural step to that, into that space.
I still do it, and I don't have it's not my primary. I have I do coaching. I do package of 10 sessions, for a discounted rate. Or we can go, it's like one by one. A lot of times people just only need to have a sounding board, be able to hear themselves, help them just organize their thoughts. Nobody likes, at least I don't like to tag people and say, diagnosing and putting tags doesn't help. I'm more practical. What is my issue? What do I need to get it done? And a coach will be somebody that always help you to do what you don't want to do to get you where you need to get, where you want to get.
Okay. I've never heard of coaching explained like that. I actually, now hearing you, I'm like, you know what? That makes sense. Like I never even considered, but that makes sense. Like we're trying to get somewhere, and it would make sense for you to, okay, I got to rethink a lot a lot of
coach, I cannot judge. We coaches need to remain open. Completely, we're a white canvas for every one of our clients. Doesn't matter what is your issue. If you're gay and you're trying to see if you want to come out of the closet, if it's okay or not okay, what I think, what I don't think, it's not up to me. It's what do you want to do? How would you live your life to the fullest? How would you be happier? How would you feel, accomplished? And if you encounter any wall in front of you, what is the best way to approach it? Do you go around it? Do you climb it? Do you take it down? And coaches are here to help, just to do what is right by you. It's not my agenda. It's not about me. It's completely, for you and to you. You're the one doing the work. I'm just the one going to be making sure that you get what you wanted to get. It's a nice structure.
I didn't even remember if I asked you this or if I said this is my last question. And before I let you go, I don't know if I said that because my mind went somewhere else completely. I was like, I think I have to think a few things through. But before I do really let you go, is there anything you would like to say? Is there anything that I missed on that you would like to tag on, or maybe we can wrap up on the organization itself, or if something you'd like to tell other Latinas?
Well, I really would like for every woman out there, and I know you do, Latinas, to find their inner light, to find their inner happiness, to find their gifts, and try to see and what's the best way to put it at work for others. Some of them paint beautifully. How, show your painting to others. You play music, do it for others. You sing. What is your gift? What is so unique to you that it was not given to me or anybody else? And we will all love to see it and enjoy it. That alone, when you do it from your heart and with that passion, that alone will inspire others to do the same. And I think will bring us all to a different vibration and to a higher place without saying anything, you know? You don't, anybody will say, I love you with a gun to their heads. But this is, you
Yeah.
know, saying, I love you. I've shown you who I am and what's my gift. And I hope you can show me yours. And I hope I
Yeah.
can learn from others and keep revealing the light is in each one of us. Because it really is. I mean, it's nobody without light. We just need to find it.
Maydi, thank you so much. I came on this interview expecting one type of conversation, and I'm leaving with a whole separate, like, you've given me a lot to think about. I thank you so much for coming on and talking to me today. It's not what I expected. I think you're doing. I think the organization is doing amazing. I think you are also doing amazing.
Thank you. And I think, you know, no matter where life takes us, you know, what's the next job? If you bring your own light anywhere you go, you're going to make it right and you're going to make it beautiful. So thank you so much for your time. I didn't know what to expect either. And I just, you know, asked whatever the right words to flow.
Okay.
You
Thank you.
feel free to reach out to me anytime. We can have
Absolutely.
seconds.
I love that.